All right, today is the big day. If you guys have been following any kind of economics, markets, financial news, you guys will know what I'm talking about. And of course, if you guys have been watching my channel, you guys will definitely know what I'm talking about because today is the big FOMC meeting. We are going to be seeing the Fed rate decision that is going to be coming up in the press conference. That is going to be coming up in about 2 hours. I am on Pacific Standard Time. I am expecting that at about 11:30 here, where Jerome Powell gives his speech and answers questions. What I am currently doing right now is I'm just making sure my leverage positions are well buffered because I have seen some volatility, some pretty good volatility coming in for FOMC meetings, right? So I am not really gonna put any bets right now until after the meeting is over, until I can get some more clarity on what could be happening. Of course, the expectation is that this is going to be a very bullish meeting because Jerome Powell and the Fed is expected to be cutting interest rates. If you guys been watching this channel, this is no surprise to you. Okay, let's check the CME Watch tool. We are currently still at 100% of an ease for this rate decision that's coming up. Okay. However, something else that's more important is their summary of economic projections, which tells us how many rate cuts are we going to be getting this year. So let's take a look here. So we're at 100% for September. We are at 100% for October. We're still at 100% of an ease for December. So the markets are expecting 3 rate cuts this year. If we get less than 3, I think the markets are not going to like that, and we could see a pullback here, okay? For lack of better terms, right? That is what I think, right? Of course, these are just my opinions, like the entirety of this video, and not financial advice. So you guys gotta make up your own opinions, right? I am long on Bitcoin. I am long on quite a bit of the altcoins here. So my opinion right now is still bullish because I think we're still getting into a rate cut cycle, which pushes more cheap money into the financial markets. We have seen stock markets making all-time highs, S&P 500 particularly, which has high correlation with Bitcoin. So could Bitcoin follow the stock market? I think that is a pretty good chance that happens, okay? And why is that important for your altcoins? It's because Bitcoin is the driver of this crypto markets. If Bitcoin pumps, that is very good for the markets, altcoins. And if Bitcoin dumps, that's very bad for your altcoins. Now we're going to take a look into a few altcoin setups, which are going to be meme coins today. Okay, we're going to be taking a look into meme coins. We're going to be taking a look into Neiro, the meme coin. We're going to be taking a look into what else? Let's take a look. I always forget. Neiro. We're going to be taking a look into MOG coin and Turtle. See what has happened in some of these coins and their latest trading setups and price targets. Okay, later in this video, I highly don't recommend that you guys skip through because I never trade altcoins without a clear understanding of Bitcoin because that could very much wreck your trades. Now, let's go ahead and go to some major economics news first before diving into the charts. All right, first piece here is going to be by Cointelegraph. Bitcoin options show caution. Pro traders boost bullish bets ahead of Fed rate cut decision. I am still very bullish on Bitcoin right now. There are some mixed signals, of course, including on the higher time frames, but there has been exceptions where major breakouts invalidate these bearish divergence signals. I am talking about December 2020, October 2017, where major breakouts happen, and I think this could be a higher chance of an exception. Of course, I'm still minding the downside risk as well, because if this thing breaks down, this bearish pattern with Bitcoin breaks down, that could be a very steep drop for altcoins as well as Bitcoin. So that's what I'm seeing here. Always got to consider the downside risk, because nothing in this market is 100%. Next piece here is by You Today. Bitcoin at crucial pivot point. Here's why Fed can tilt the balance. Well, yes, because we're all waiting for one, the Fed rate cut decision. If there's going to be a Fed rate cut today, the market says yes. And of course, the outlook for the entirety of this year, the summary of economic plans, projections. How many rate cuts are we getting this year? That's going to be very important. Let's go ahead and go to the next piece here. News BTC. Bitcoin price turns bullish above 114K with hidden divergence forming. Okay, so let's come to the charts real quick. I think this person is talking about the 12-hour moving average. What is hidden divergence? This is not something I really use as much, because it tells you that there's going to be continuation, okay, with the RSI signals. Basically, when you have a higher low, right, which we are getting right now on the 12-hour, but there are still 7 hours left on this 12-hour time frame candle, where you have a higher low, but you have a lower low on the RSI. That is hidden bullish divergence, which signals that there's usually going to be continuation. So, meaning that this could be a higher low before a higher high. I think that's what this analyst is talking about. So, I mean, I am bullish right now on Bitcoin. But let's go ahead and skip through to the next piece here, and I'm gonna talk to you guys more about the charts later. This is by Coinpedia. Powell's FOMC speech today. Bullish and bearish scenarios for traders. Now, let's just take a look here at what this author is saying. What could be bullish for crypto? Okay, if crypto tends to rally when the Fed leans dovish. Yes, that reiterates what I've already said. One key sign is commitments to further rate cuts. I mean, this will be the first rate cut that we have gotten this year. Yes, and we're looking for 3 rate cuts. That is going to be very bullish for the markets. Anything less than 3, I don't think that is going to be bullish for the markets. At least not right now, okay? Maybe later, going forward as the news sinks in. But the market is looking for 3 today. If Powell highlights risk in the labor market or weakness in jobs, I mean, that's already too late. I mean, we already have a weakness in the labor market, unfortunately, in the US and probably around the world. Markets often see it as a green light for risk assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum. So yeah, that's gonna be dovish for Powell. Okay, another positive is a soft tone on inflation. Yes, that is still a concern. Look for terms like transitory. Okay, so let's see how Powell's tone is. Okay, that could also be very important. Now, bearish signals. Bearish signals. Okay, if crypto could slide if Powell signals a caution or hawkish stance, of course. Higher for longer, meaning there's probably going to be some lag in the Fed rate cut cycle. Like if we take a rate cut right now, today, but we wait, that's not going to be good for the markets, right? That means we're not getting 3 this year. That means we're gonna cut and rates, cut and wait, and then cut and wait. So that's not going to be good. All right, so yeah, the stakes are high for Ethereum today. And of course, inflation is another red flag. Let's see how Powell sounds about inflation. All right, I didn't really see any other interesting news in the market, so I decided to bring you guys an idea that is charted by another trader in trading view here, and this seems to be a very popular idea. And what this trader is saying is that he is seeing a 4-hour ascending channel. Ascending channels are bearish patterns, okay? Because it works almost like a rising wedge, right? That it usually breaks down. Okay, this is the 4-hour time frame, and what this trader is saying is that it must retest this level at about 113.4. Okay, I think that I kind of disagree because we have quite a bit of support underneath the price action right now. Okay, now 113.3 is gonna put Bitcoin back towards that cup and handle it broke out of. Okay, um, I mean, I think that's going to be a pretty far shot. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I think the chances of that happening is not as likely. Now, ascending channels are bearish. Okay, let's see if that breaks down on the 4-hour time frame. Let's come over here to the charts here. Bitcoin. This is the 3-day time frame. I want to tell you guys more about where we are seeing Bitcoin right now currently at the 3-day 21 SMA. That is about 115.8K. Why is that important? Because that is the last major moving average I am seeing that is acting as resistance. And by major moving averages, I mean anything from the daily time frame up. So I am seeing the 3-day 21 SMA that is currently acting as resistance right now. That is the last one. If we actually get over this, the next level of resistance would be anywhere above 120K, of course. And this is the pattern that I want you guys to be paying attention to because this is a rising wedge on a higher time frame. It is a bearish pattern. Can Bitcoin break out of this pattern like we have seen with the stock markets? Okay? If not, and it breaks down by this point, which the probabilities are in more favor of a breakdown here, then the breakdown target would be about almost 75K. Breakdown price targets are estimates only. There's quite a bit of support underneath the price action, okay? Including your major moving averages, your daily moving averages, your weekly moving averages, your 3-day moving averages. So, I mean, I think the chances of Bitcoin going all the way down to 75K is very slim, even though this price target is saying so. Okay, just gotta be critical of anything sometimes. All right, even technical analysis. So that is basically what I'm seeing. I have quite a few points that are bullish about Bitcoin and of course the crypto markets. So that's why I am still long on my positions. Let's go ahead and go to some altcoins here. I want to point out to you guys, Total 3 is still on the verge of a major move. I think it's on the verge of more likely a breakout. The breakout point is actually about less than 3% away at 1.15 trillion. Let's see if we can get a solid candle break above that resistance. Let's go ahead and go to some altcoins now. I know I'm running a little long here. Turbo Coin. Let's see what's happening with Turbo. Okay. Let's take a look here. I'm waiting for my chart to load. All right, 3-day time frame. This is probably more validated on a lower time frame. Turbo has broken out of this falling wedge pattern back in February. Price target still valid because this breakout still valid. Price target would be about 1 cent, above 1 cent here. And since the breakout here, it has also formed a few more falling wedges. Back in about the 3-day candle of August 8th, it did break out of the smaller one, and the price target would be about 0.63 cents. Still valid breakout. Since the breakout here, the price action has formed another falling wedge pattern. Okay, it is not uncommon to see falling wedges form after breaking out of a falling wedge, just because of the amount of resistance. Now, it broke out of this one not too long ago. Price target for this one would be about 0.5 cents. So let's see if Turbo can hit some of these price targets, smaller price targets, before the bigger one at about 1 cent. Let's go ahead and go to MOG coin and see what's happening with this meme coin here. I'm gonna wait for the chart to load. This is the 3-day time frame. Okay, it's probably more clear on a lower time frame here. It did break out of this huge falling wedge pattern back on the 3-day candle of April 7th. Price target is 5 zeros and 245 about. Still valid breakouts. Okay, I talked about a rising wedge pattern for MOG that broke down just a couple weeks ago. Okay, broke down. Price target, the breakdown target would be 6 zeros and 41. It hasn't gotten there. Okay, it looks like it could be on the cusp of a rebound. Let's take a look into the daily time frame. Daily time frame. Falling wedge pattern. Since the breakdown of that rising wedge pattern, price target, let's just say if it breaks out by this point here, price target would be about 5 zeros and 168. Okay, let's see if MOG can actually reverse against this breakdown. Let's take a look into the 4-hour time frame. Falling wedge pattern, small falling wedge pattern. Price target would be about 5 zeros and 107. Okay, let's go ahead and go to Neiro, the dog coin. See what's happening with Neiro. All right. I'm going to wait for the chart to load. Weekly time frame. This is probably a more validated pattern on a lower time frame. A more clear pattern, that is. Broke out of it on the week of February 10th. Price target is about 0.00178. About. Still valid breakout. Price action is still above that upper trend line of that breakout pattern. Has formed a few more falling wedges. Okay. The first one, this first smaller one here, it broke out on June 30th, the week of June 30th. Price target would be about 0.00067. Since the breakout here, it has also formed another falling wedge pattern. Broke out about 2 weeks ago. Price target here would be about 0.0006. Okay. So, there are some resistance along the way for Neiro right now, including the weekly 21 SMA. That's very clear, 0.00042. So let's see if Neiro can hit some of these smaller targets before the bigger one. Okay. Because I've seen breakouts that fall short of its price targets. That is also something to consider, right? Not all breakouts reach the price targets. Now, this basically wraps it up for this video. Let me know if you guys want to continue seeing any more of Turbo, MOG coin, Neiro, or any other meme coins or any other coins in this market by dropping a like, comment, subscribe. I'll pick a request to do for you guys on a daily basis.